Protesters say the action is intended to ring in their message of people over profit.
Closing bell of the stock exchange symbolizes the prioritization of economics over politics in our society, the fact that our politicians are more beholden to these institutions than to the people they're supposed to represent.
For weeks, demonstrators have made the march to the stock exchange a Friday action, and they say the march will continue every Friday until the national general strike on May 1st. Occupiers have been drawing attention to cracks in the financial system and calling sympathizers to action for 6 months. One of the most successful campaigns is the moving of money out of major banking institutions. The town of Brockton, Massachusetts recently pulled its money from Bank of America, and places like Austin, Texas, and Boston are working on doing the same. With the warmer weather and growing support, Occupy is gearing up for a big impact in the spring. For Occupy the Media, this is Caroline Briggs.
That wraps up the latest headlines from the Occupy front. So now let's take a minute to dig into the latest action from the Occupy movement. Sitting here in our studio today is Marcy Miranda, Free Speech TV's news producer, and Don Rojas, FSTV executive director. The Occupy movement has had some big wins in getting towns to move their money out of big banks. So, Marcy, it's called the Move Your Money campaign. Formerly, it focused on individuals taking their money out of the big banks, but now there's been municipalities and other local governments that have done the same.
Yeah, they've done it, and they continue, intending to do so in other places. I think the really interesting twist to this is the fact that now we're looking at a whole lot more money instead of just looking at one individual's checking or savings account. It's the money that a town uses in its everyday.
So what type of cities are we talking about here? Well,
like Carolyn said in the package, Brockton, Massachusetts has already done that, and you've got places like Boston and Austin, Texas that are considering doing the same thing. So these are some pretty big cities, in the case of Boston and Austin, that want to move their money.
And so Brockton, Massachusetts, they said formerly we do all of our banking with a large Wall Street institution, but now we're going to move all the banking that we do, the payrolls. I mean, that's a lot of money that moves through that, Don.
Indeed. You're talking about tens, probably hundreds of millions of dollars. The scope of it is enormous. And it can have a very negative impact on the big Wall Street banks, and conversely, a very positive impact on the community-based credit unions and banks that tend to invest at a higher degree in local community development, economic development projects at the local level. So it could be a boon for the credit union movement.